Hello, everyone. Good evening. Welcome to Talking Reds, and we will bring you the latest Liverpool news and transfer news and much, much more. And in today's episode, wow, have we got some news for you? Florian Wirtz for Bayer Leverkusen has been in contact with Liverpool Football Club and has flown over to speak both to Liverpool and Manchester City. More on that in the upcoming episode. A little bit on Frimpong, Dean Huijsen as well. Pretty much the same players every single day. Tsimikas may have found his destination as well, and a little bit on Real Madrid and Trent Alexander-Arnold and his future in the coming weeks. So, Florian Wirtz, everyone. Florian Wirtz. What a mad couple of hours it has been regarding this specific transfer, regarding this rumour mill, regarding this player. It's all coming out now what happened the other day. We saw the other day that Manchester City were in talks with Florian Wirtz. He flew over to England for those talks specifically. But today, it has actually come out that he also spoken to Liverpool in those talks as well. Massive news. So let's start from the beginning. Let's start from the initial talks today, the initial report that came out today from I think it was Florian Plettenberg. I think it was. Let's have a look. It was CSC Bayern. Yep. Christian Falk. It was Christian Falk. There was also a meeting with LFC Liverpool, FC Liverpool, and Florian Wirtz on Tuesday in England. And the rumor is that he did go to Blackpool. And once you get in Coral Island, if anyone's been to Blackpool, if anyone should get to Coral Island, you can immediately win someone over if you take them to Coral Island. I'm telling you that now. So then it went on to say more reports then after that with Florian Wirtz as well, according to a German outlet. Unlike initial reports, Wirtz never met with Man City. His team travelled to England to meet Liverpool and their representatives. Leverkusen won 126 million pound for the player. But they're saying that Man City didn't meet Leverkusen, but the reports are that Man City and both Liverpool did meet Leverkusen. He also then, Wirtz has said something himself about playing outside of Germany. It's definitely tempting for me to leave from my comfort zone at some point and experience something new. He has said that in the previous past. So will he leave Liverpool? Will he leave Leverkusen for Liverpool, or will he stay in Germany? Mixed reports coming out. David Ornstein's also spoken about it. Paul Joyce has also mentioned something about it as well regarding Liverpool. Expected him to stay in Germany. So I wouldn't. Guys, I cannot physically get too excited. The amount of times we have been burnt in this transfer window, the amount of time we have been burnt in transfers, Bellingham, Caicedo, Lavia, even going back to Nabil Fekir, never came to fruition. So yeah, let's get on to more what David Ornstein said as well. Liverpool make contact with Florian Wirtz camp. They express interest in signing the playmaker if he leaves by Leverkusen. Admiration long-standing but unclear. 22-year-old plans to exit by Leverkusen or Germany. So we don't know if he's going to leave Leverkusen or Germany, but if he does, Liverpool are absolutely on it. And that was also backed up by, I'm just going to get it on now, backed up by Paul Joyce. Let me see if I... Liverpool's interest in Florian Wirtz comes with an expectation that he will remain in Germany, either at Leverkusen or moving to Bayern. Should that change, they would pitch for the player, according to Paul Joyce. Liverpool admire Florian Wirtz and have been in touch with the players' camp as they consider options to bolster their creativity. And when David Ornstein said they had long-standing interest in Florian Wirtz, I can absolutely back that up right now with something I'm just going to bring up on the screen if I can bring it up for you guys at home. So this is an article I wrote in 2021. Let me just zoom it in. I also wrote things for LFC Transfer Room. This was in 2021, October 2021, saying info. Oh, no, it's not that one. What am I doing here? It is not that one. My apologies. I'll remove that one. But that is the Paul Joyce news, obviously, there. But there is an article I wrote in 2021. Let me get it up for you guys. Let me send it. Give me 1 second. 1 second. So, yeah, Florian Wirtz to Liverpool could be on. according to David Ornstein, according to Paul Joyce, if Leverkusen are to let him go. And that is pretty much going to happen, I think. Leverkusen I think he's going to leave Leverkusen this summer. Now it's the question of, is it going to Bayern Munich? And if it isn't Bayern Munich, if he's willing to leave Germany, Liverpool will throw their hat in, certainly, on that specific transfer. I'm trying to get this thing up here. Let me give me 2 seconds here. Da, 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 da. I'll find it. So I'll just show it on my phone. I'll show it on my phone what was said. So there we go. Let me get it up. So there we go. Look. So that is the. I don't know if you can't really see it there properly. Really, reports of Germany are suggesting that Liverpool remain in close contact with Florian Wirtz's parents. Will the youngster arrive at Anfield? That's what LFC Transfer put out in October 2021. If you can see it, I don't know if you can see it or not. It is backwards. I do apologise for that, but October 2021, and I wrote that article for Sports Illustrated and LFC Transfer, and that was 2021. We have been in contact with Florian Wirtz's parents, so this has been a long-going thing with Florian Wirtz. There is contact there between Liverpool as a club and Florian Wirtz's parents as well. But again, it is all down to Wirtz and whether he wants to leave Germany. That is what's coming out right now. Will he leave Germany? That's the biggest question. I think everyone and anyone right now is probably expecting him to stay at Bayern Munich. Not at Bayern Munich, but in Germany with Bayern Munich. I think that is the likely outcome right now. Sky Sports have said Liverpool believe Florian Wirtz wants to stay in Germany. So it's hard to get really, really excited about this. Everyone in the chat, let me know how you're feeling about Florian Wirtz. Can it happen? Or is this going to be another Bellingham? Is this going to be another Caicedo? Let me know in the chat what you think, guys, tonight. Make sure you do smash that like, get your notification bells on, and also subscribe to the channel as well. Thank you, everyone, for watching so far. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Make sure you do smash a like. Let me know your thoughts on Florian Wirtz. Do you think Florian Wirtz is achievable under FSG? Let me ask you that. £126 million is what Leverkusen are asking for. And I'll tell you one thing. That is I thought it'd be more than that, if I'm honest. I have done a previous stream on Florian Wirtz and being a dream transfer. I said it'd be 150 million at least. But £126 million, I think, especially when Liverpool do transfers, we could do it over years. I think it's a very achievable transfer for Liverpool to make. It's whether we want to make it. That's the question. £126 million for one of the best playmakers in the world at 22 years old as well. This guy has done everything he can at Leverkusen. He has been the major reason why Leverkusen and Xabi Alonso has achieved in recent seasons. Florian Wirtz at 22 years old. Like I said, we've been in contact with him since he was 18, 19 years old. So that contact is there with his parents. That contact is there with Florian Wirtz himself. It's just whether we move for him. And this has always been the case as a Liverpool fan. This has always been the case as a Liverpool as a whole. We've always attracted these players. When you see a rival say, oh, Liverpool don't attract the best players, we absolutely do. We absolutely attract the best players. The difference is between us and other clubs is that we don't really fully go out to get them. That's the only issue. Under FSG, we don't really want to go and do the extra mile in terms of getting this done. And we're going to see in just a second about Dean Huijsen, about Frimpong as well. Barcelona coming in for Frimpong. But again, we don't want to wait too long with these deals. I've said it before, look, if we want a player, go get that player. I don't care who it is, go get that player. Florian Wirtz is a game changer at Liverpool. What this guy would do for Liverpool Salah would have so much weight off his shoulders with someone like Florian Wirtz in there. I'm not saying go spend under 26 million on Florian Wirtz and that's it. That's the budget gone. Liverpool Football Club should have a healthy budget. Bearing in mind we're selling players as well, we should be able to get at least 150 million, between 150 million for our players that we're selling. So that basically makes Florian Wirtz free. Everything else should be just part of the transfer budget. But like we've seen in recent reports, Van Dijk and Salah could potentially be part of the transfer budget. And this is why players like Florian Wirtz, for me, are only a dream. This is why it's always only a dream. And it is, as Paolo says here, sounds too good to be true given the FSG factor and the money City will throw at him. I think if we not threw enough money at him, we don't need to throw money here. That's what I'm saying. We just need to pay up what Leverkusen want. I think even if we a Liverpool big enough club, if we offered anywhere near City's wages, City, Munich might offer us more wages. But I think if we just agree that fee, I think there's a very good possibility of getting someone like Florian Wirtz, even for less wages. You've got to understand the whole context here of Liverpool Football Club. Liverpool Football Club is not just about wages, not just about wages. People choose Liverpool because of Liverpool. It's Liverpool, one of the biggest clubs in the world. We've just seen how much this team and this club is absolutely adored by the fans through the celebrations of winning the league title. What player wouldn't love that? And that's a genuine statement there for me. What player wouldn't love that? The only issue we have with it's not just wages. The main issue we have is we don't agree with the fee with the clubs. That's what it comes down to. And in order to talk to players, we have to get that done first. Yeah, we can agree with the players and things like that. But if we don't agree a fee with the club, then that negotiation only goes so far. We can't do anything. Lavia wanted to come to Liverpool. That was the initial first thing with Romeo Lavia. He wanted to come to Liverpool. What happened? We didn't agree the fee with Southampton. That's what happened. We was umming and ahhing constantly. We added £1 million onto it. We wanted 50 million. They wanted £50 million. We offered them 45. We offered them 46. That's the issue. It's the constant trying to be stubborn with the money and trying to be as save as much money as you possibly can. I get negotiations. I get bargaining. Go to any market stall in England, any of these market stalls, you've got to drive a bargain. You've got to hustle them down a little bit. You've got to haggle. That's the word, haggle. But we never get it over the line with these sort of things. We go to Bayer Leverkusen, say they want 126 million. I don't mind saying like 100 million over a certain amount of years or whatever. Paid initial fee of 40 million, something like that. Just an example. If they disagree with that, then up it. But if it keeps going on and on and on, and they will shift that 126 million, if you want that player, go get that player. The Florian Wirtz, the Romeo Lavia thing was just an absolute joke. The fact that they wanted 50 million. Some fans will say Shirky should be chasing his head, but that's our mindset of budget. Let's just get the best in the position, and Wirtz statement signing to stay at the top. He would have want to play for us. I absolutely. I think so many players would want to play for Liverpool, if not most players in the world, unless they're already at like a Barcelona or Real Madrid, for example. But most players in the world would want to play for Liverpool. And that's not being an arrogance thing. It's just the love of the club. The club is just a sensational club. Unless the group is a Man United fan as well. Maybe not. But when I hear rivals saying, oh, Liverpool aren't attractive, it's absolute bollocks. It's absolute bollocks. The reason why we miss out on players like Caicedo, Lavia, Zubimendi, for example, is because we simply don't pay the fees. That's the major reason. It's nothing to do with being attractive or not. That's it. We can attract most players in the world as Liverpool Football Club, and look how they would be treated as absolute brilliance here as Liverpool fans, having won leagues and stuff. It's just it is, and that's not an arrogance. I think Liverpool Football Club is one of the best, not best run clubs in the world, but best clubs in the world to be at. And that's not being me just a Liverpool fan. I just think anyone in general. But yeah, I think Florian Wirtz would be possible if we were to pay the money, and if we wanted to leave Germany as well. But that's another issue that's going to be in our way. If he doesn't want to leave Germany, then Bayern Munich, as always, Bayern Munich they just take all the best German talent, don't they? Agents love money; they absolutely do, absolutely do. But yeah, Ryan Shirky as well. I absolutely love. That is not Jumpers for Goal, as I made the point about Ryan Shirky. I absolutely love Ryan Shirky. But if it was between Shirky and Wirtz, I think it's a no-brainer. Wirtz would be number one for me. But I wouldn't say no to Shirky if I've already accepted how this club is run. I know how this club is run. we will go for the cheaper options. And I think Shirky is not a bad cheap option, if I'm absolutely honest with you. I'm a big fan of Shirky. How do you know who we will sell Konate if he doesn't agree a contract? I don't know anything specifically, John, but I know for a fact that yesterday's reports about Konate was nothing is advancing between the contract talks between Liverpool and Konate, which is not looking good right now. And speaking of Konate, I'm going to go into Dean Huijsen, actually, the news of Dean Huijsen. Let me get it up for a second. Dean Huijsen wants Real Madrid and has kept other clubs on hold. Real Madrid are in the race for Dean Huijsen, and also it was also said that if he was to stay in the Premier League, Liverpool is his preferred club. It's a bit like the Wirtz situation. If he is to stay in Germany, he's going to go to Bayern Munich. If Huijsen stays in the Premier League, he'll probably come to us. But Real Madrid are sniffing around. And when Real Madrid want a player, they seem to get a player. Dean Huijsen wants Real Madrid and has kept other clubs on hold. So it's basically like another, it feels like another, the Euro situation. You know, when he went to Man United, he was looking like he was going to go to Real Madrid, wasn't he? So we sort of like held back a little bit because he looked like going to Real Madrid, and then ended up going to Man United anyway. But I want us to be more proactive with these sort of things. If say Dean Huijsen wants Real Madrid and he's kept other clubs on, just attempt to go get him. Don't sit still and watch Real Madrid want to get him, or in the end not go get him, and then he goes to somewhere else because we're stood still. Let's really push for these players that we really want. But yeah, what I worried about, I mentioned it last night on stream actually. What I worry about is with the Konate situation and the Huijsen situation is if we act too late regarding Huijsen. If we are going, we need to decide now really if we are going to sell Konate or is going for free next season, or we're gonna tie him down. We either tie him down or we have to sell him in the summer, and we need to decide that quite early because if we leave it too late, like we always do, this is what we do in transfer windows. We leave things late in terms of addressing certain things. If we leave it late and Konate ends up going later in transfer window and Huijsen's already moved to Real Madrid and other defenders or whoever is on our target list goes elsewhere, we're left with a massive, massive issue. We're left with a massive gap because Konate's not there and we don't have our first, second, third choices in transfer targets. The Konate situation right now needs to be addressed as early as possible. We either decide that we're selling him early or we tie him down to a new contract. Or it's going to come. Or the only other option to that is letting him go for free next season and then we address it next season. But again, we're letting another player go for free. I think Konate goes to only Real Madrid at PSG as that is his bio club. Well, again, the jumpers actually, if Real Madrid come involved again, Real Madrid are a very, very attractive club, as we've seen with Trent Alexander-Arnold. Speaking of Trent Alexander-Arnold, in fact, I'm going to stick on Real Madrid and Trent Alexander-Arnold before I go to other transfer rumours as well and transfer reports as well. So Real Madrid have asked Liverpool to release Trent Alexander-Arnold for free so he can play in the group stages of the World Cup. They have not made a financial offer to Liverpool and hope they will relent and allow the right back to join. Real Madrid, let me tell you one thing right now. Fuck off. Not a chance. And I will absolutely go skits if we let Trent Alexander-Arnold go for free to Real Madrid early. That should not happen. If that happens, that is an absolute liberty. Absolute liberty. There's not a chance that should happen ever. They are running the narrative here, Real Madrid. They've always run the narrative. They've controlled the whole situation. They've got what they want with playing getting for free. How fucking dare you ask Liverpool to let him go for free so you can get him early? You either pay a lot. Apparently, the reports that Liverpool are asking for is 850k. That's all they're asking for. That's not enough. If Real Madrid really want Trent right now, at least 10 million. That's not going to happen. I know, but I don't give a shit. At least 10 million or Rodrigo. Give us something. That's all you're getting. It's as simple as that. There's no way we should ever let Trent go early for free to Real Madrid. Never. Let me know in the chat what you think about that situation. I think it's an absolute liberty that they've asked that. It seems like we may pursue one high-value elite player for that high sum. Isaac, Rodrigo, Wirtz, or Alvarez. Who's the most realistic to you? That's a very good question. That Jumpers for Goalposts. Very, very good question. The most realistic. Wirtz, Rodrigo, Alvarez, Isaac. I would say Alvarez. And I only say that because we could potentially use Nunes as a bargain deal, as a swap deal, part swap deal with Nunes. So I'd say Alvarez is the more realistic. If you're asking me which one I'd want out of those, wow. What we need most is a striker. And the best striker right now on the planet for me is Isaac. So I think he would be the one I'd want the most out of them. That's crazy because Wirtz is unreal, Rodrigo's unreal, Alvarez is unreal. But Isaac for me, I'd want him more than the other three. But I think the most realistic in those four that you've said there, let's bring it up again, is Alvarez because of the bargain deal with potentially Nunes. If we were to use Nunes as a bargaining deal with that deal as well. So yeah. Well, Real Madrid can swivel on it. That's what Real Madrid can do. Real Madrid can absolutely swivel on it. They're asking Liverpool to let him go for free early. Not a chance. I don't know who the fuck they think they are. That was it. Liverpool are demanding 840k to allow Trent Alexander-Arnold to leave early. And that's not good enough for Liverpool. 840k to give them what they want. I can't stand Real Madrid, man. Can't stand Real Madrid. Right, Jeremie Frimpong. We spoke about Jeremie Frimpong yesterday, and that is looking like the one that was going to happen first in terms of Liverpool transfers this summer. Contact have been made to Jeremie Frimpong. It has advanced into talks as well. However, Ismail Mahmoud, also an Egyptian journalist, a friend of mine, has come out and said Barcelona have entered the race for Jeremie Frimpong. Sources confirm that the Catalans are intensifying talks with the Dutch fullbacks camp. And this is what I was saying earlier. If Liverpool want a player, go get it done because we hold out too long for... I know it's not the transfer window yet. Obviously, things need to happen. We can't sign players right now, but we need to get the initial talks done and get things, maybe like gentleman agreements and things like that. Because if we stand still and if we watch again, like we do with Lavia, keep pissing around with the money side of things. If we continue to mess around with these offers and these bids and these negotiations, continuously doing this, these players will get tired of that and they will eventually move later to another club. We saw it with Lavia. I have no qualms against Lavia for going to Chelsea in the end because he saw Liverpool bidding pathetically. Add another million on. Instead of just paying the 50 million. Chelsea paid the 50 million. We want you. Come here. What's gonna look better for him? And players do think like this. What's gonna look better for him? Is he gonna think, oh, this team wants me. They need to prove it to me by the bids that they're doing. We didn't prove that by kept messing Southampton around with the bids. We can't let that happen now with Frimpong. We can't let it happen with a Cherki, for example. We can't stand around with these players and constantly try to negotiate money down, try to save every single penny we can. There's a point where the player will start looking at us and say we're taking the piss. And that's what I felt like with Lavia. He must have thought Liverpool taking the piss. You either want me or you don't. Because the way you negotiate is not showing me that you want me enough to say, oh, we're not willing to pay that much. Sometimes you just got to pay. If you want the player, you got to pay the money. It's as simple as that. Negotiations should happen. We should try to get the money down, but stop fucking lowballing. There's getting the money down and it's taking the piss. And I think that's what we do too many times. I end up losing our targets. And again, Liverpool are attractive. We just need to stop messing around with these transfers. Because if Frimpong is in advanced talks with Liverpool, and he's the player that we want, then we should go get him. We shouldn't allow someone like Barcelona to come in and snatch him from us, because that's what's going to happen. It's happened plenty of times to Liverpool before. Plenty of times. And this is why Liverpool fans can't get too excited with likes of Wirtz, with likes of other transfers as well. We can't get too invested into it because we know how much we get burnt. I've started too many fires, too many campfires as a Liverpool fan in the transfer window, and I've been burnt every time. I'm no longer starting campfires. I'll sit on the marshmallow. I'll sit on the marshmallow. I will not start another campfire to burn those marshmallows. I will sit on it because I'm not willing to get burnt again. And this is why I want to get excited for Wirtz. I think Wirtz was in my dream signings. If you go back on our videos on Talking Reds and have a look at our past streams, the videos that we record, I did one on dream signings and Wirtz was one of mine. So I want to get excited for Wirtz, but I physically can't get excited for Wirtz, if I'm honest. It's too much of a dream. And as we've seen before, John Henry, i.e. Freddy Krueger, enters your dreams and certainly destroys them. So I can't get too excited for Wirtz. I want to get invested in it. I'll always give you the updated news. I'll give you my opinion on it. But I will warn you as well at the same time, don't get too excited. If things happen, then you might see me get a little bit excited. If things start a little bit more promising regarding that. Do we feel that we are safe in hands with transfer committee and Hughes and Edwards negotiating for the best and right players to keep us at the elite level that Slot wants to? I've never not had faith in Edwards specifically. And Hughes, we don't really know much about Hughes, do we? Obviously, is about his case, and that's really it. So we're not the book's still out on Hughes in terms of the full opinion on him. Regarding Edwards, I've always had faith in Edwards to do good deals. The problem is, it always has been the problem, is the budget that they're working with. When we got Van Dijk, when we got Fabinho, we had Coutinho money. But the unfortunate thing is, we don't have a Coutinho to sell every single season. So what budget are we working with? And that's always been the issue. The reason why we come short on players is because we've run out of budget. I'll take you back to 2023, I want to say. When did we buy Nunes? I want to say 2023. I don't know why. 2022, 2023. Let me know in chat when we bought Nunes. So he's been here 3 seasons, and so it will be 2022, won't it? So yeah, 2022, we bought Nunes. But if you remember earlier on in the window, the first part of that window, our main target was Tchouaméni. So we wanted a midfielder early on in the transfer window. That was our main target, Tchouaméni. Ended up going to Real Madrid, is what it is. It goes to Real Madrid, then we should really move on to a midfielder or get another midfielder like that. We bought Nunes for 70, 80 million. We sold players for around 60, 70 million that window. I think we paid for most of Nunes. And then after we bought Nunes, the whole narrative was then is we don't want a midfielder now. When that wasn't the truth, we did want a midfielder. The truth is we ran out of the budget. We spent the budget on Nunes. Edwards, with the right budget, it wasn't Edwards back then, but I'm saying the whole transfer committee, this is how we run at Liverpool. If Edwards were there, for example, or the sporting director at the time should be able to be good enough to go get a Tchouaméni replacement. Someone, not Tchouaméni, but obviously because he's going to Real Madrid, but another one to replace Tchouaméni and Nunes as well. But the issue is we ran out of budget. So then that's why I don't take the journalist word too much, because the journalist word after that was we don't want a midfielder, which makes no sense and contradicts everything that happened before Nunes, because our main target was a midfielder. And then that's when ended up getting Arthur Melo on a panic buy, because we realised we did need a midfielder, and we got Arthur Melo on a panic loan. And that's the issue now this summer. I absolutely have faith in Edwards and Hughes to get good deals done. Do I have faith in all the issues and all the positions to be addressed properly? No, because of the budget. And that's the biggest issue that we have under FSG. We're working under such a strict budget under sell to buy, and if we do, this is why we keep players. I think this is why one of the reasons why we keep players more so because I feel like we keep them because we overprice them out of moves. Origi stayed for quite a while because we overpriced him, and that's a big issue. But the reason why we do overprice players on the way out is because we need a budget. Kelleher the same. We could overprice and move out Kelleher this summer, and if he stays, it'd be simply because we've overpriced him. With the journals being told we are in him for a huge summer, what makes you think? What makes me think there must be a belief of sales for good money onto our fringe players not wanted? Maybe a Saudi sale or two. I think all the signings will be low key but data driven. As you say, LFC are too slow at competing at the bidding game, and that's the big issue. That's why when it comes to players like Florian Wirtz, I can't physically get too excited on that because once it comes into actual action, we're slow. We're slow at doing it. And that's a big issue for me. So, from one one Bundesliga star to another Bundesliga star, Xavi Simons' decision has been made. He is ready to leave RB Leipzig this summer. Plan confirmed, as reported in recent months. He's ready for a new chapter with top Premier League clubs and Bayern Munich all attentive to his situation. Leipzig aware of the player's plan as well. Right, Xavi Simons. I think this a lot depends on Florian Wirtz. Also, similar position, similar kind of players. I think Florian Wirtz is another level to Xavi Simons. But if Wirtz does go to Bayern Munich, then Bayern Munich will be going for Xavi Simons. That leaves a quite a straight race for Simons between us and potentially Man City. But I'm saying Man City because they want Florian Wirtz, so they are looking for a player in that position. I don't know what to feel about Xavi Simons. I think he's a sensational player, but if we continue to buy Dutch players, we're going to have the Dutch national team at this point. Just get Weghorst and have it done with. But yeah, I'm not. I think Shirky and Simons are not far off each other in terms of talent. So under our budget, I think Shirky would be the better buy. But if I was to choose anyone out of all these, it'd be Florian Wirtz, wouldn't it? Florian Wirtz would be number one. He's one of the best players in the world. So, but yeah, I won't say no to Xavi Simons, but I prefer Shirky in terms of the budget as well. So let me know what you guys think as well. This club will never spend that much. Exactly. This is why I can't physically get my hopes up. And people, there's already people in our chat on Talking Red saying, "Look, I'm willing to jump in on this." I can't physically jump in. I can't physically jump into this because it's too much hurt has happened before. Too much has happened before. I'm not being burnt again. Like I said, no more campfires. For that. So another player, also Jeremie Frimpong yesterday was looking like advanced talks with Liverpool. Barcelona now showing interest in Jeremie Frimpong, but also Gertruda, Leipzig's Gertruda is another player that is an alternative option for Frimpong for Liverpool as well, according to Lewis Steele and Dominic King from the Mail. Obviously, with this is what I'm putting two and two together here because this is what I always do when it comes to reports. And I always remember other reports as well, and I always link them together. And they do eventually make sense together when you talk about these things. So we saw yesterday, Jeremie Frimpong was advanced talks with Liverpool. Today, now Barcelona are getting involved. And now we're seeing already from a reliable source in Lewis Steele that we're talking about alternatives to Frimpong. This is why I always warn you guys at home. Jeremie Frimpong, look, from yesterday, talked about yesterday, everyone getting excited about Jeremie Frimpong. This is going to happen. This is going to be our first signing. It looked quite likely, didn't it? If I'm absolutely honest, it looked like cross the T's, dot the I's. We'll probably find out next week that he's a Liverpool player, and it'll be all said and done in July when it's confirmed properly, officially. But then in the space of a day, you see the Barcelona interest in Jeremie Frimpong, and then now Liverpool are talking about alternatives. And this is what it says here. It is not Liverpool's style to focus on one individual, and Gertruda is a serious possibility. Serious possibility. So not only are we looking at Gertruda, that says a lot about our interest in Frimpong there. From going from advanced talks to looking like pretty much the first signing at Liverpool from yesterday, everyone's saying, look, this is going to happen. Within a day, alternatives. And I'm not saying we shouldn't have alternatives, but again, it's saying when we want a player, we simply stand still and don't push. Is it going to get to the point where we're trying to negotiate this fee? Yes, there's reports saying like we're trying to negotiate the release clause at 35 million euros to spend over like a few years and stuff. And I get it. I get the whole structure thing. I get the whole thing, but I think we mess around too much trying to save as much as we can. We lose the player. Hence the reason why to look to alternatives already. This is why I will always be honest with you guys at home. I'll always tell you the truth. I'll always give you my honest opinion on the situation. And that's why I said don't get excited for certain transfers until it literally is over the line. Because we really don't push as much as we should sometimes. And it all comes down pretty much to money. It always comes down to money. Always, we didn't pay that a little bit more. Even Zubimendi, like people said, Zubimendi changed his mind in the end. We're giving the chance to change his mind. Zubimendi wanted to come to Liverpool. The first initial talks, Zubimendi wanted to come to Liverpool. And what happened was then, he had a clause on his contract where he could pay himself out. So we, as Liverpool, had to give him the money to pay himself out. But we were pissing around on that. That's what happened. We messed around with that and said, we want to do a bit less. We want to try to do a little bit less. Give him time to think. He had time to think and he changed his mind. If he changed his mind, then fair enough. But then after he changed his mind, we're saying, we're willing to pay the money. But we wasn't, because we didn't. That's why it took him so long. That's why it took so long to go over the things. We weren't willing to pay the money, the whole money at the first point. And this is what happens. Jumperscopa says here, we need to act like a top 10 club in world football and flex some financial muscle. The owners sat there, don't take money out of the club. We should have money without need to sell. There's hundreds of players for transfers, but every fan base talk about them. 20 popular names. Exactly. There's plenty of names out there. There's plenty of good players out there. This is why I say when they say when they say there's no alternatives to this last season. Zubimendi is the only one out there. It's bollocks. Zubimendi is the only DM out there in the world football. That could probably improve us. I'll give now Gravenberch some rotation, or maybe move him upfield a little bit more. It's absolute bollocks. Zubimendi is not the only one out there. It's just you decide not to spend. That's all it is. And this is why I don't worry about the near future, because we just won the league. We've got a brilliant foundation to build on. But what I do worry about is standing still again. Why is that, Damon? It's happened before. Unless you lived on a rock, or you just completely ignored it. It's happened before. We stood still. And it's these constant transfers, these constant negotiations that keep going on, not stall, but they prolong out. And as someone said earlier, we don't get into bidding wars. But I don't want to really get into a bidding war, but we should do it as much as we can to get each player that we really want. Otherwise, what is the point? So let's move on to a player that could potentially be going out of the club in the summer, and that's Kostas Tsimikas. According to Lewis Steele and Dominic Keane again from the Mail, Kostas Tsimikas is a target for Leeds United this summer. And I think Kostas Tsimikas' time is up at Liverpool. I think there's a few players we can absolutely say that about: Darwin Núñez, Kelleher. And I think Kostas Tsimikas for me is the third one in terms of absolute certain is going this summer. I think it's quite clear we want a left back, quite clear that we're going to get a left back, whether it's Kirkes or someone else, we're going to get a left back. We're not going to sell Andy Robertson. In fact, they were talking about Andy Robertson getting a new deal, weren't they? So we're not going to sell Andy Robertson. He's going to play a big part into next season, Andy Robertson, and potentially also be the background person as well, which is very, very important for me. And Tsimikas was always going to be the one that gets rid of, if I'm honest. He was always going to be the one that leaves the door this summer. And Leeds United is a target for Leeds United this summer as well. So Leeds United obviously just coming to the Premier League. Big, massive club. I live quite near to Leeds. So I speak to I see Leeds fans constantly. I see how big of a club it is. And I think it'd be a brilliant move for Kostas Tsimikas, I'll be honest with you. I think it'd be a brilliant move. I've always said about someone like Leeds, if they come up and they really stay up, I think I said the same about Newcastle. When they came up last time, Newcastle, I said if they get a good foundation at a huge club, they can build up to where they are really now. And I think Leeds could do the same thing. I think Leeds are that big of a club. If they get a solid foundation in the league and stay in the league a couple of seasons, I think they can build up to European football at some point. Because they're bigger, no offence, like Bournemouth, for example, and Brighton. They're a bigger club than Brighton and Bournemouth. Leeds can be a serious club if they were to stay in the Premier League. And someone like Tsimikas is a very, very good signing for them. And I think it's a very, very good signing for Tsimikas. I'll try to see if I can. If he does go to Leeds, I'll try to see if I can do my best to track him down. I'm not going to stalk him. Let's make that absolutely clear. But I'll try at some point. I can get to Leeds ground from my house quite quickly actually. So I could try to get something out of that and speak to Tsimikas and his time at Liverpool if I can. So yeah, let me know your comments in. Whilst you are watching live. Thank you everyone for watching live. Make sure you do smash that like button. Helps us out massively. I can't even tell you how much hitting that like button helps us. The more likes I get, the more it can push out into the YouTube world and people see it and people watch it. And it's like I appreciate everyone that comes on every night. Like Paolo comes on quite often. Jumper Score Post. John comes on. Abdul's usually on. People that come on every night. Absolutely appreciate you all from the bottom of my heart for coming on and getting your comments in as well. This channel I just built up just as a hobby, and I'm absolutely loving giving you guys the news, giving you guys and seeing your guys' opinions. I love interacting with fans across the world for this club. So yeah, thank you everyone for watching. Make sure you smash that like, share, subscribe to the channel. And before we do wrap it up, I want to ask you guys a question in the chat. 1 second. Costa has been a big part of getting the team's bond so strong. Will like chat. Absolutely. He's a Greek scouser for a reason. Absolutely amazing person. High thoughts on Chiesa being linked to Napoli. Yeah, in fact, I did actually have that up, actually. I think with Chiesa, John, I think it's just one of them things, isn't it? He's gone. It hasn't really been given a chance at Slot. I think Slot, I said it the other day, I think Slot's used him as like an example of like, I didn't want him, so I'm not going to play him. I sort of like that brutalness, but again, I think Chiesa absolutely deserved a start over Núñez. He deserved a start over Jota. He deserved to be on the bench over certain players as well. We haven't seen it. I don't like how Slot's done that, especially the Núñez situation. Núñez doesn't deserve to be anywhere near that pitch over Chiesa. It's just a shame. It's a shame, and it was one of them. It was a risk worth taking at the price that we got it at. But I don't want to keep doing this bargain bin, opportunistic signings. I don't want to see the word opportunistic this summer. Bollocks the opportunistic signings. I want to see real ambition and real signings that will make a difference to us. And that's not against Chiesa at all. I think Chiesa's done what he can when he has. He had pool games. Plymouth game also the worst of them all, but they all had a pool game against Plymouth. But one thing I will always say about Chiesa is he's absolutely talented. One of our best forwards, if I'm honest. It's just a shame that it hasn't worked out. But that's the chance you're taking it with opportunistic signings. Not my strategy. So yeah, before we do go, I want to ask you all get in the chat. This one's for you guys. I'm trying to make it a little bit fun for you guys while at the end of streams. I like doing my news streams. I like talking about the news, give you the news, give you my opinion on the news, let your opinions known about the news as well. But I also want to be a little bit fun as well at the end now of these news streams, because sometimes it can be all doom and gloom. Sometimes it can be all just about believing certain things. But let's talk about Bundesliga has been the main issue tonight, the main subject tonight. Xaxi Simons, Florian Wirtz, these players that we're linked to are from the Bundesliga. What's been your favourite signing from the Bundesliga? Chat, let me know. If you are live, let me know in the chat what your favourite signing has been from the Bundesliga in the past. Let me know in the chat your favourite signing from the Bundesliga. Obviously, one of our most recent ones is Endo. Straight from Stuttgart at the age of 30 was he 30 when he came across? 30, 31. Sensational signing, I think he's been. Obviously, it was never going to be a starter. He wasn't really bought for that. I think Liverpool did buy him for that in terms of because they couldn't be able to go get a proper DM. But it was always going to be that Milner replacement. And what a job he has done, Chiesa, with the price that we bought him at. He's never complained about not playing. He's never given in. Every time he has been given a chance, he's always not. Sometimes been poor, but he's always proven why a Liverpool shirt matters, why a Liverpool badge matters. Endo's the epitome of playing for Liverpool, enjoying every moment, playing for the badge, really putting his effort in. If every single player that Liverpool signed had the attitude of Endo, that's perfect. Endo might have done the talents and the attributes of other people have, but every single player that plays Liverpool should have that attitude. And this is why I can't take to Nunes, because he doesn't have that attitude that Endo has. And Endo doesn't get him many chances and deserve more chances. But yeah, just a shout out to Endo there. Firmino says jumpers for goalposts. Also put Matip in there as well. Also Firmino from Hoffenheim. And I think this, for me, is my favourite. I'll be honest. Firmino, I said it the week, Firmino is the best player I've watched live. He's the best player I've watched live. And I've obviously watched Mane, Salah live. But in terms of actual talent on the ball, and especially the game I watched, the last game I watched with Liverpool, Firmino as well. Last game I watched Firmino play live, he had like a man of match performance. That helped as well. But honestly, he is as talented as you get as a player. You could tell he plays from the streets of Brazil, from those favelas in Brazil, those little pictures they have in the favelas. Firmino is bags of talent. He's a proper streets footballer, a kind of streets footballer that you grew up on. When FIFA Streets came out, he likes of Ronaldinho, likes of JJ Okocha, these players, Firmino fits right into that. And I think players like Firmino right now they're quite a dying breed. Just watching him is why I fall in love with football. Watching players like that is the reason why people fall in love with football. Sees everything. Such an intelligent player. Sees more things than anyone can see. Paolo said here, Firmino, Salah and Mane with Electric. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I watched all three at the same time when they all were in the prime. Firmino, Mane and Salah. Watched them all live at the same time. And Firmino was the best player on the pitch. He's the most talented player on the pitch. And that's nothing against Salah, might be one of the greatest Liverpool players of all time, and the best player we've had since Gerrard. But in terms of actual talent, Firmino was just unbelievable, absolute delight to watch. Joe Matip as well said, "Jump as well," plus one of the best free signings as well there for Joe Matip. Did he leave Schalke? Was it a transfer? Can that count? A free transfer? Does that count? I'll count it. It was from Schalke, wasn't it? He did come from Schalke, didn't he, Matip? But yeah, let me know in the chat as well. Anyone else you can think of? I can't think of anyone else that came directly from the Bundesliga. Marco Reus, Götze. They didn't happen, did they? They didn't happen. They didn't happen. We tried. Klopp wanted it, but we did try. Lewandowski would have been a nice one. I'm trying to think. The German players we've had in the past. Trying to think where they came from. The Marcus Babbel. Where do we get Marcus Babbel from? I'm thinking Marcus Babbel. We must have got Marcus Babbel from Germany. We must have done. Let me know in the chat if you know. Let me have a look. I'm sure we got Marcus Babbel from Germany. Marcus Babbel. Let's have a look. We must have done. Yeah, we got Bayern Munich. Yeah, we got Marcus Babbel from Bayern Munich. I thought he was a decent player. I'm trying to think who else we got in terms of German players. Where did we get Andre Voronin from, by the way? I know he's Ukrainian, but did we get him from Germany? I've got a funny feeling we got Andre Voronin from Germany because I'm sure he got top Bundesliga top goal scorer. I'm sure he got Bundesliga top goal scorer. I'm sure that's why we signed him. Yeah, Leverkusen. Hang on a second. Hang on 1 second here. Was the last player we bought from Leverkusen Andre Voronin? Guys in the chat, everyone in the chat, if you're in the chat right now, can you think of another player we got from Leverkusen after Voronin? Please tell me Voronin was not the last one we bought from Leverkusen. Emir Can. Yeah. I'm trying to think, did he, Haman? Did we get him from an English club? Emir Can, did we get him from... Where did we get Can from? I've just got Dortmund in my head for some reason, but we went to Dortmund after, didn't he? Emir Can. Just looking, guys. Looking. Oh, Leverkusen, yeah. For that. Thank you, Jeremy. Yeah, there you go. Emir Can was from Leverkusen. Good shout, jumper scopers. But yeah, so Emir Can didn't really work, did he? He's a good player, but he didn't really work at Liverpool as much. Where's Didi Hamann from? I'm sure Didi Hamann, but he must. I'm thinking that actually, he must have come from Germany. He went to other English clubs after. Obviously, ended at City, didn't he? And I'm sure he ended up to another, like a Coventry or something like that, Bolton. No, he came from Newcastle, didn't he, Hamann? He was at Newcastle for a year. So Newcastle got him from Bayern Munich for a year, and then we got Didi Hamann. Yeah, then they went to Bolton, like I said. Yeah, he went to Bolton and Man City. Yeah, so Marcus Babbel, Firmino, Can, Matip, Voronin. Have I missed anyone that's come from the German league, from the Bundesliga? Have I missed anyone? Remember, McCoy says if Wirtz happens, there goes the transfer budget. Yep, exactly what I said earlier, mate. Exactly what I said earlier. This is the problem. We shouldn't have that transfer budget. Shouldn't just be sales. We should be able to sell enough players there to get that, to make that Wirtz transfer happen. Still have loads left, but we don't. We have to rely on the sales a lot. But yeah, I think Didi Hamann could be up there, didn't come directly for the Bundesliga, but yeah, definitely Firmino is the best Bundesliga signing we've had from Hoffenheim. The worst is probably Andre Voronin from Bayer Leverkusen. Yeah, let's make that difference. Let's make a Leverkusen signing a better one. Bearing in mind how the Leverkusen signings are Voronin and Can so far, we're looking at Frimpong and Wirtz as well. Yeah. To retain the EPL, says Real McCoy, Liverpool need to sign quality like Wirtz and Rodrigo. Imagine Wirtz and Hezak. Thiago, what a ball. Oh, yeah, Thiago from Munich. Why have I forgotten Thiago? I still think Firmino's the best. But Thiago, yeah, how do I not remember Thiago from Munich? We've got in doubt for Munich, wouldn't we? Because we don't get him early in his career. But yeah, Thiago. Another player, like I said earlier about Firmino, makes you fall in love with football. Delight of a player to watch. Thank you, everyone that has come into the comments. Thank you, everyone, for joining me tonight. I hope you are all good tonight and hope you join me again tomorrow for more news and more stories. Hopefully, I don't know if myself and Hooks will be on this week. About tomorrow, Friday, and Saturday. I'll let you all know when me and Hooks are back for another head-to-head. We've got a lot to talk about, me and Hooks. We've got Arteta. We've got Arsenal, Liverpool at the weekend. We've got the booing of Trent. We've got a lot to talk about between me and Hooks. So I bet you do smash that like button on this video. It would help us out massively. If you just hit the like button, it doesn't take 2 seconds just to press it. Subscribe to the channel if you are new as well. I appreciate you all for coming in. I appreciate you all for watching. Thank you everyone for watching and getting your comments in as well. I will speak to you all very, very soon. And like I said, notification bells on. You will know then when myself and Hooks are on live this week. Speak to you all later and have a great night.